Kush's movie review. Elvis by Baz Luhrmann. The man who's most famous to me as the man who released that song called Sunscreen in the mid to late 90s.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
What okay, after we get off this recording, your first piece of homework is to go to YouTube, search Baz Luhrmann Sunscreen. Get into that.
I'm gonna extend that privilege to you sending me a YouTube link later, and then I'll do it.
Right, whilst you're reviewing Elvis. No, I don't want to have YouTube Premium. Yeah. Tell the good folks of the Series Squad a little bit about Elvis.
Elvis, directed by Baz Luhrmann. It's rated PG-13. It is 2 hours and 39 minutes. And while that sounds long, because it is, this man had a much bigger life than this movie's even telling. That leaves out a lot of details, much like Bohemian Rhapsody did, the biopic on Queen. The difference between this and that, and even Elton John's Rocket Man, is this movie is told from the point of view of Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, who, by the way, not a real colonel. I did not know that at all. I thought he was like some sort of like Kentucky gentleman. I thought they just hand out ranks down there in the South and in that region. But no, Tom Parker is apparently he's a Dutch immigrant on the run for some dastardly shit he did back in the Netherlands, and just created a whole persona called Colonel Tom Parker and just started riding out on the carnival circuit. Okay. He's what we would call a carny in the pro wrestling business. And I thought he played it to a T. I thought he was 100% accurate. Tom Hanks, that is.
Tom Hanks. It's be amazing.
Playing this carny. Like, he's got a gimmick for everything. He's got an angle about everything. He's always looking into the future. How am I going to make my next 2 bits? How am I going to, like, what can I take out of this person here? Like, how do I expose them and utilize them? Get them some money too, but we're looking at the Colonel here, baby. How do I do that? So this movie is told from the Colonel's point of view. And when we actually start getting into Elvis's story and we get deep into like a dramatic scene, then all of a sudden the movie will just was like, Colonel Tom Parker here. Don't forget this is my story about Elvis.
He breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, to a degree. When the movie starts, the Colonel is on his deathbed. Okay, so he's doing that, seeing his life flash before his eyes, and it's a very long story, by the way. But we don't focus too much on him running from the law. He's just like, yeah, I was happy as a carnival barker, in the rural South. I actually had an act. We made some good money, and then I fucking found Elvis. And all shit broke loose, man. And there's an accent that seems to be bothering a lot of people. It doesn't bother me. Some folks were like, "What is that accent?" Like, it's the accent of a Dutch guy hiding from the law in the South. That's that accent. Well, don't worry about that. That shouldn't be bothering you. But
I'm a music producer. Yes.
There's no but he does have a high voice where it goes, Elvis. Look what we can't leave the country. We've got to do 5 years in Las Vegas. They're going to give you $5 million, Elvis Presley. We're going to make so much money together. But he talks a little bit like that. He's got a weird prosthetic nose.
Want to have a spoken a pancake?
No, nothing like that. I absolutely feel like Tom Hanks is obviously swinging for another one of those little gold trophies. He might get it, or at least the nomination. He might get a nomination. The titular character, Elvis Aaron Presley, played by Austin Butler. He's done a lot of TV before this. He's been in, I don't even know if it's fair to call them independent films, but like he was in Kevin Smith's Yoga Hosers, and sure, that's about as indie as it gets.
Yeah.
So, but he's had that kind of career. This is safe to say that this is his first big major motion picture, and he's fantastic. He looks like Elvis. I don't know if that's really him singing, but I believed it. Every time he's on screen, I was just like, wow,
How many
pretty
times
impressive.
does he go? Uh-huh.
Either so much that I didn't notice, or not at all to the point where I didn't recall.
Do you know what that might be? Just to cut you off again. Sorry, that might be one of those. What's it called? The Mandela effect.
Yeah. No, I know what you know. I know
Possibly
what you're saying.
everyone, when you think of Elvis, you think, but maybe he might have said something similar, but maybe he just never ever said that.
I have a feeling he probably said that a time or two, and I'm sure he says that in a lot of his movies. But again, they like fly through this dude's career. Like Mike Fish, you and I are both older now than when Elvis Aaron Presley died.
Okay? Oh, yes, that didn't happen yesterday. So yes.
But he died at like 36. Okay.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, sorry. Okay, yes.
Okay, but he still had like, again, 2 hours and 39 minutes. You know me, my reviews are like, this could have been 15 minutes shorter. This could have been an hour shorter. This movie could have actually been like an hour and a half longer. Okay, not for entertainment value, but because like there's so much history that was not covered about this dude. Like there's at one point he's just some dude hanging out with his friends. They go to a little gin joint, Shake Shack or whatever. They're like peeping in the holes, watching some dudes watching a dude and a lady, not two dudes, watching a dude and a lady grind on each other to some like just like dirty blues music, Mike Fish. And it's sexual like a lady, Mike Fish. And then all of a sudden there's a little carnival church tent down the road, and Elvis hears that gospel music, and he's just drawn to the spirit. And then all of a sudden he's a performer. There's no scene about where he learned how to play the guitar and learned how to sing and was part of the choir. Like none of that. Like he goes from a child to a singer, and then the colonel finds him, and then they go from like, oh hey, you're going to be the opener for this band. Now you're the headliner of this tour. No real drama about the guy who was the original headliner getting pushed all the way off the card. No drama about like, I guess I have to drop my client. Like, I'm going to be your manager full time, Elvis Presley. Like, I also think the Colonel probably could have managed both careers.
Yeah.
Not important. Elvis, at one point in time was drafted to the United States Army, as we discussed earlier tonight. Like, I could have swore that service only lasted about 2 weeks, but apparently like years went involved. What happened there?
That was the middle of the show quiz.
Oh,
gotcha. we were doing a playback. Sorry, yeah, no. Yeah. That'd be good. I just get the Oscars music. If you're going on too long, the classical music starts fading in. Anyway, join us next week.
That would make more sense, actually. Still rude.
Anyway.
Baz Luhrmann, he's known for a lot of his musicals. He's known for a lot of his visuals. The Great Gatsby, Australia, 1996's Romeo and Juliet, Moulin Rouge. This movie visually is beautiful. Okay, it's one of those things where I was like, oh, I wish I took one of those last little treats I have in my drawer over here and enhanced this experience. Visually, this is a fantastic looking movie. It's as long as it is, it's only okay. The soundtrack is great. The performances are above adequate. I don't see either of these folks getting a little gold trophy nomination in February of next year, but this is the first one that's on the map. Like, these guys are contenders. Strong 3 out of 5. I think you would have a great experience if you're a fan of Elvis. I think you would have a great experience watching this in the theater. Again, the soundtrack, you got the surround sound, the Dolby Atmos, all that shit. But this is, you can wait for this to be on streaming too in 45 days or more. And it's entertaining. It's good. I was not bored, but I don't think it's for everybody. I think we're aging out of the age where anyone gives a shit about Elvis.
Yeah, maybe. I think,
you remember in the 80s and part of the 90s where like there was always that like Elvis found working at a gas station in so-and-so Florida.
And it would just be randomly someone would remix an old song of his and he'd pop up again. But yeah, I think, as I always say, that what is old is new again. But yeah, I think if this movie had come out, maybe even like 20 years ago now, I think it'd been a bigger hit. I mean, there's obviously still major Elvis fans out there, but yeah, I think the people that very much didn't live in his time, I think the generation of interest has passed. So I think maybe this might be a slow burner. I don't think there's many people who are interested in Elvis in the youth.
And I think a lot of the controversies are going to be lost on today's generation because, folks, guess what?
He was
there was
Eminem
a time where like
in the 70s, basically.
it was bigger than that though. Like,
oh yeah, but he had the same controversy of like
in the
1950s,
in the 1960s, like America was so conservative and uptight that just like a white guy. By the way, it's a white guy because they're not letting people of color on TV. So it's a white guy with the camera like this, and just him doing this. It's driving bitches crazy, son. Like,
yeah, I remember hearing that they would
throwing panties on the stage and not like he's like just not doing anything more than this. That's it. Just shaking his hips left to right, and these chicks are going out of their fucking mind.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
early in his career,
like, we can't show this.
Yeah, they would only show him from like nipples up.
Based up.
Yeah, crazy shit.
You can't show this on TV, man. What are you doing? All right. So this is
and now
time
on
period
TV,
in America, and I think it's going to get lost.
Now on TV, you just got like squeezing their buy Wrigley's gum, and everything's okay. But
this isn't Paris, dude. But you know, like depending on what you're looking at, yeah. I was just watching The Boys on Amazon Prime the other day, and you know, someone knocks on the door. There's a party going on, and sure enough, just like a 12-foot dick answers the door. It's CGI, obviously, but just like that's where we are today. Like a giant CGI cock is answering a door, whereas Elvis couldn't do this shit back in the day. Tyler, is this driving you crazy, ladies?
Just getting me to tingle. I'll give you that.
Oh,
baby. So what's your score?
Some money in the air for that.
Out of 5 for Elvis Presley.
I have 3 out of 5. I have 3 out of 5. Like there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. There's a lot of stuff that's missing, but at the same time, like, do you want this to be a mini series or do you want this to be a movie? Like, again, there's a lot of stuff left on the table, but I found it very entertaining, visually stunning. Yeah, I think one of the better looking movies of this year.